A new report just came out the other day that over 65% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And what that means is just that we are just one financial situation away from not being able to meet our most basic needs. In addition to that, half of Americans have $0 set aside in an emergency fund. And as far as our retirement savings go, one third of people have $0 set aside for retirement. Another 23% have under $10,000. So basically, over half of Americans have basically nothing. Like, it is understandable that we are all in like this dire situation just with inflation, and the cost of living is sky high. Job wages are not going up at the same rate at all, and things are just tough right now. Around this time last year, my family was really struggling financially. We had just had a baby. My husband had lost his job. The prices of everything were increasing. Like, it was just a really stressful situation for us to be in. And we did have an emergency savings account set aside, but we felt the pressure and saw what was going on in the world, and like really decided to make some pretty drastic changes to our lifestyle in order to cut down on our living expenses and to just live a better, less stressful life. So this past month in April 2024, I was able to get my budget down to right at $1,000 for my family. This includes all of our food, our bills, all of our living expenses were down to $1,000. So I want to share with you like exactly how we were able to do that, how we are able to live on such a low amount of money. And this doesn't mean that your income has to be $1,000. These are just our bills. This is what we're required to pay. We got it down really low. So any money that we make over that $1,000 can go into savings for emergencies. It can go to retirement, just whatever we need to make our life more financially secure. We are able to have extra money to be able to do that and be in a secure financial place. But one of the first things that we decided to do to relieve that financial pressure was to sell our house. We were living in Florida, everything was getting more expensive, especially there, and we just didn't want that pressure over us to have to pay for homeowners insurance, property taxes, like all of those things. Like, I get that you need somewhere to live, but we decided to go a different route and do things a little bit differently. So we sold our house and used the equity in that house to buy a piece of property in Virginia. We bought 7 acres with cash, and then we bought an older camper RV that we renovated and are now living in it on the property while we are going to be building our house. Paying for housing is generally the most expensive part of somebody's budget. It's usually recommended that you keep it around 35%, but most Americans right now are paying over 50% of their income is going towards housing. That is mortgage or rent, any sort of taxes, insurance, utilities, water, internet, like all of those things can be considered part of your housing expenses. Right now, our housing expense is $0 because we are living off grid on our property. I understand that that is extreme and not everybody's going to want to do that, but that is a way that you can drastically lower your housing expenses. Imagine if you got rid of your housing expense, how much money that would free up for you. We will have property taxes, but right now they are around $400 a year just because it is raw land. There's nothing on the property right now. That will increase as we add a house and like other infrastructure to the property, just that it's going to increase the property value. But still, base being $400, it's never going to be like the almost $3,000 that we were paying in property taxes while we were living in Florida. We plan on building our house slowly over time with cash. So we will never have a mortgage on this property or the house that we put on it, which is going to save us so much money in interest just by being able to pay cash. When we sold our house in Florida, it wasn't a huge house. It was just a small, it was like about 1,000 square feet. We did have enough equity in our Florida house to be able to pay cash for the Virginia property and put some money back in savings to start building our house and putting in any type of well or utilities, solar, anything that we want to do to the property just to get us started. We do have enough money for that. We also don't have any internet. We do have a cell phone. We use Mint Mobile. I pay for it once a year upfront, so I don't have a reoccurring monthly payment. Comes out to just $15 per month per line that I pay, that I've already paid upfront, so I don't have a reoccurring monthly cell phone bill, but we just use the internet off of our phone. And when we need Wi Fi, we can go out. Basically, everywhere has Wi Fi. It's been very easy to access. You can go to the library, fast food places, gas stations, a lot of times will have Wi Fi. There's just so many places out there that you can hook up to their internet for free that it's just not an expense that we feel like is necessary at this time. And I post YouTube videos, so like the internet is still pretty valuable to us, but it hasn't been an issue. The next category is groceries, and this is the second largest section of most people's budget. And I have worked really, really hard over the years to get my grocery budget down as low as I possibly can. And for my entire family this past month, we spent $356 on groceries. I have done a lot of videos on my channel just going over some of the foods that we eat, grocery hauls, and I will leave a link down below so you can go check out that playlist and kind of see how we eat. But we just eat a whole lot of whole foods. I cook from scratch a lot, and we eat really basic, cheap ingredients as the base of a lot of our meals: potatoes, oats, beans, lentils, rice. Like all of these foods can be part of a really healthy diet. You just throw in season local produce that you have grown yourself, and you can eat really healthy on a really low budget. Next category is debt. We have no debt. So we don't have a mortgage, we don't have credit card debt, we don't have student loan debt, any car payments. This is also a huge chunk of money that comes out of the average American's paycheck every month. And by not having any debt, not only do you not have those reoccurring monthly payments, but you're also not paying interest. We have been very conscious over our life to not get into debt by paying cash with things, by doing without until we had the money available to buy something. We have occasionally gotten a loan for something. Like I did get a loan for my first home, but it's been very calculated, and you can use some types of debt to your advantage. I'm not black and white when it comes to debt, but getting out of debt and not paying interest and not having those monthly payments is going to be so beneficial to lowering your budget. Drive old, low cost vehicles. Stop updating things so often. Everything has gotten ridiculously more expensive, and a lot of people are trying to keep up with that same lifestyle. So they're continuing to purchase things and live the way that they used to, or cutting back just a little bit. And they're racking up credit card debt. They are putting all of those other things that they can't afford onto credit cards. And the average credit card debt in America is rising because of inflation, because people's lifestyles are continuing to stay the same. It is really important to try as hard as you possibly can to not get into debt. And that might feel really uncomfortable. You might have to eat differently than you used to. You might not be able to go out and pay for activities and entertainment like you used to, but that is okay. Maybe your kids, instead of playing sports that cost a lot of money, they need to go play free sports or go play with the neighborhood kids outside. And that is okay. You are not a bad parent for not working over hundreds of dollars every month for your kids to play sports. Everything that we're buying today is really getting out of hand, and we need to get back to the basics. We just aren't going to be able to keep on living the way that we were in the past with prices rising the way that they are and wages not going up to meet those demands. So the next category is healthcare, and this section always irritates a group of people when I talk about how my family gets their healthcare. I think we can all agree that the American healthcare system is broken. It is super expensive to have private healthcare or healthcare through your company. It is the middle class who is suffering the most when it comes to paying for healthcare. Copays, deductibles, everything is so expensive. My husband used to work as a healthcare insurance agent. Even with him working full time, my family could not afford his company's healthcare. I used to work full time in a government teaching job. Even then, I could not afford to pay the deductibles of the health insurance and then copays and all of that. It's just always been unaffordable. What we are currently doing is we are going through healthcare.gov, and we do qualify for healthcare subsidies through that government program. What happens is you get a subsidy based on your income, and you are able to apply that to different insurance plans. And we have all chosen an insurance plan with a $0 deductible. It's not a wonderful health insurance plan, but it is something, and it is free for us. I do have a life insurance plan that I pay $28 a month in order to take care of my kids if something were to happen to me. The next category is personal, and I just spent $65 in this category. That includes like all of our toiletries, our pet food, and laundry, which, since we're living off grid on property, I am having to go to the laundromat right now. We just buy very little things. Things that we do purchase are usually reusable. We don't buy a lot of single use products just because it, in the long run, is a waste of money. I make all of my own cleaning products just with like basic ingredients: vinegar, baking soda, and Dr. Bronner's. We use Dr. Bronner's for washing everything, including like shampoo, soap, all of our cleaners, our laundry. It just makes it very simple and streamlined to just use one thing and just spend money on one thing. Next is entertainment. We spent $0 in this category for this month. We've gotten rid of all of our subscriptions. When we're going out and doing fun things, we try and find free things. This past month, we just moved onto our property, so we haven't had the need to go out and do anything or spend any money doing anything fun because we've just been having fun on our property and working really hard to get everything livable and set up. But there's so many free things to do, and you do not have to spend a lot of money in this entertainment category. Cut out all of your subscriptions. You don't need all of that stuff. Read a book, go to the library, go to the park, just do free stuff. The next category is transportation, and this has been our most expensive category for the last few months, and that is just with car insurance and gas maintenance. We do have two vehicles. I prefer to be a one vehicle family. If you can have one vehicle, definitely try and go that route to save money. Not only will it save like on the purchase price of the vehicle, but also car insurance, maintenance, gas, all of that stuff. But right now we have two teenagers, so we do have two vehicles. It's just necessary for us right now. So because our bills are so low everywhere else, that seemed like an okay expense to have. We try and do all of our car maintenance ourselves, brakes, oil, all of that stuff my husband does. So we are able to save a lot of money on maintenance, and we have reliable vehicles, so they should last us a very long time. So this is our most expensive category, $614 for our transportation. So our total spending for the month of April was $1,062.99. I had budgeted $1,200 and I ended up going under budget, almost $150. I really like this budget planner because you can come over here and, you know, do this little visual spending analysis and fill out this little chart so you can see how much you spent in each category and maybe where you can cut back on cost. Like I said before, this is our monthly budget. These are our bills, these are our living expenses. Anything else that we make over this base amount can go into an emergency savings account, retirement savings account, improvements on our property, building our home. Just having your base bills down so low gives you a lot more freedom to be able to choose what to do with your money and with your time. I know things are super stressful. We were super stressed out this time last year when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our lives, with our situation. And I am at such peace now. I'm so happy that we made the very difficult and exhausting changes that we have made over the past year to get where we are today. On our property, we are going to be able to grow our own food and live self sufficiently. We don't have to be stressed about job loss again or about prices of everything going up so much because we have a big buffer to be able to separate ourselves from those situations. If you are in a really difficult financial situation, I am so sorry that you are struggling. I know what that feels like. And I just want you to know that you can be somewhere else. You can figure it out. You can do little small things in increments to get you where you want to go. But you have to decide is where it is that you want to go. Like if you don't have a destination that you're shooting for, you're not going to get there. I absolutely love this budget planner because it has helped me to meet my goals. It helps me visualize what it is that I need to work on. And I can make little goals every month to constantly be improving my budget. I just recently did a video on things that we can learn from the people who lived during the Great Depression and just in rural America or poor parts of the world where they don't have a lot of money. If you are curious in implementing just some of those everyday habits, check out this video right here. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.